Forest Hill Church is a diverse family of faith. Each individual in our family has a unique life story and faith journey. Some of our stories impart wisdom, teach lessons, or provide encouragement for others. We know with certainty, however, that sharing our personal stories enables us to connect with one another on a deeper level. Become acquainted with M. Laudeman-Ezell as she shares her story.
My name is M. Laudeman-Ezell, and we have been coming to Forest Hill Church since August of 2021. So what brought us to Forest Hill Church is we moved to Cleveland, and my husband is in the medical field, and this is my daughter Persephone, by the way. And so we've kind of hopped around a lot and been part of a lot of different faith communities in different parts of the country. And I grew up in sort of the more traditional religious institution, and what we were looking for when we moved here was a faith community that really challenged us, but also focused on the radical teachings of Jesus Christ, with the key word there being radical. And I sort of grew up with this understanding that faith was about a lot more than going to church on Sunday. And it was about walking the talk, even if that meant being uncomfortable, and dealing with really, really challenging issues as a human race. So coming to Cleveland, we knew that was something we were looking for. And Forest Hill has really, from the second we walked in the door, we knew that this was a community that really cared about really important social issues as a part of our faith and being stewards of the earth. The day that I realized what Forest Hill Church meant for me was the day that we walked through the doors for the first time and really felt that welcoming community of Christians walking in their faith walks together. As you can see, I have a family. This is my daughter, Persephone. And when we were looking for a community to be a part of when we moved to Cleveland, the most important things to us were looking for a community that really challenged us intellectually and spiritually, a community that was really focused on service, and a community that would be a great place to raise our new family. My faith journey has been, in a lot of ways, traditional for a young white female of my generation. I grew up in a church going every Sunday in a rural community in the United States, in rural Indiana. And the non-traditional aspect of the foundation of my faith journey is that I grew up in Church of the Brethren, which is a small denomination that is really focused on nonviolent activism, a more modern term for peace activism. And so I grew up going to peace protests and to stewardship conferences where it was, faith-based challenge to Christians to be stewards of the earth that God has given to us as a garden. And so as a child, sort of growing up in that more social activism side of Christianity, that really set up my foundation for my faith going forward. When we moved to Cleveland, we were really interested in looking at the Presbyterian churches here and Forest Hill. I had heard about Forest Hill from friends and family because of that social activism and that pushing outside of the boundaries and outside of our comfort zones as humans to relate to one another. Being part of a community of faith is something that's so important today, especially because we're losing, as a society, public spaces where we have intergenerational relationships outside of our family, where we can be vulnerable and exposed and really wrestle with our identities and with other people's viewpoints in a safe space. And I think that churches and churches who really value that are one of the last safe spaces for that. And when looking at raising the newest generation, the COVID generation, we really think that is an important thing for our family and for spiritual health, not just on an individual level, but as, public health. Spiritual health is part of public health.
This video was created by the Forest Hill Church Stewardship Ministry.